So in this video, I wanted to spend a few minutes talking about this pen. It's the Sheaffer Gel Ion. It's a portable little pen, kind of an everyday carry type pen in this pill shape. Slightly reminiscent of something like the Fisher Space Pen, telescoping pen, or the Lamy Pico. But it's basically a little pen that you expand to push the tip out. It is a gel pen, and it is all plastic, unlike some of those other pens I mentioned. But it's kind of interesting, and it's pretty affordable. I think it sells for about maybe $8, $7, $8, right around there. It's available from Amazon and many other places, so it's easy to find. It includes this little pocket clip here. This clips on here, and then you could kind of put it on, sorry, not a pocket clip, like a keychain clip or something like that. You could attach it to a keychain or a backpack or something like that. We'll get into that in a second. But here's the pen, quite small, collapsed. It's 1, 2, 3.5 inches long. Expanded, it goes over to, line up that end. It goes over to 1, 2, 3, 4 inches long. So it's definitely on the short side. Sort of makes up for that by being wide, but it tapers, and then it obviously has this gap in the middle. So where you hold it is somewhat limited. Recently, we looked at the Kaweco ballpoint, the sport ballpoint, which is about the same length as this. This one's a little bit wider. The Kaweco doesn't have the gap, obviously. But interesting pen in the same size class, obviously not the same price category. That one's quite expensive. But the Kaweco Sport, the standard model, is about $20, so that would be a closer comparison. Anyway, so the Sheaffer is all plastic. It's this glossy plastic, black, but it's also sold, and this one's black, but it's sold in many different colors. It's kind of a like a stylish pen, so it's sold in red and green and what have you. Glossy plastic here, matte here with the logo. It looks like Sheaffer, but it's pronounced Sheaffer. This is their like little trademark there, that little white dot. You'll see it on many of their pens. No real end piece here. Here's a little, I think it's plastic piece. This is where this clip goes on there. I won't clip it in till later because it goes on really, really tight. So unless you have keys or something attached to this, it's really hard to pull this off. So just pushing it on, like if I were to push it on now, pulling it off by only holding this is really difficult. So I don't know if this one's a little tighter than normal or what, but I've had some issues with this thing. So the action of the pen is pretty simple. Basically, you grab it each side and you pull it, and then the tip pops out at the end. There's an actuation point clearly, but it doesn't lock. So you can see here, if you start pushing it back, the tip stays out until you hit the other actuation point. So you go out, it extends, but now you have this sort of dead zone without any sort of locking. So while there are clear actuation points, here's the other one, right here, and it's spring-loaded and it works well, there's a few sort of tactile points that are clearly missing. And in a nicer or a higher-end device, or I would say a better designed device, you would see a feeling of a lock right here. And it's really minor, if there's anything at all, and a more of a firm click right here. Not anything is really preventing it from going out either. So it'd be nice to see some points there. It would make the pen feel a lot more clicky, a lot more fun to use, and less prone from expanding out on, by mistake, and going back like this by mistake. When you're holding it, most of the pressure, if there's any pressure on this part, is going up. So it's not really an issue, but it's a little disappointing because this pen could be a whole lot more fun than it actually turns out to be. Put it back, and that tip goes right, pops back. It's pretty cool little action, but again, could be improved upon. If you want to get at the refill, you turn it, and you could see it's all plastic in here. Nothing special to see there. It's really nothing to see. It's just a bunch of plastic parts. Yeah, it's made well, but it is all plastic. Nothing really fancy. No spring to fall out, which is nice. Here's the refill. It's a short little gel refill called a rollerball refill, but I believe it's a gel refill. At least it's sold as a Sheaffer gel ion, not a rollerball. The made in China, and I guess this is the model number. I don't know too much about Sheaffer pens. Maybe it's a 8516-1SH. I'm not really sure. I haven't had to refill it yet. The refill is not very long, but it's wider than normal. So it has an okay amount of ink in it. It's obviously quite short, and I haven't been able to find any other refills that fit in this model. So I think you're kind of stuck with whatever you get when you buy the pen. Then you just tighten it down. It does line up here, and it is it's pretty good. It's off by maybe, kind of maybe half a millimeter, but it's pretty close. I can't complain about that. This pen's an okay writer. When I use it, I find myself always holding near or on these ridges. I just can't help myself. So it's like you're always holding a pretty large, maybe a 3 millimeter ridge there, 2 millimeter, right around there. And I find that to be pretty uncomfortable. So this is a pen you're going to use for short note taking, short little notes, that sort of thing. It writes pretty well. That refill I have no problems with this refill at all, except for the proprietary shape. But it's a nice writer, and you can see there, no problems. Very high legibility, nice and smooth. The biggest problem is that the pen is on the short side and not very comfortable. You could hold it down lower, but now it's getting thinner and thinner. So I tend to hold it up where it's a little bit easier to control, but now you're getting precariously close to this kind of sharp edge there, which is not very comfortable. So this is the Ion from Sheaffer. If you're looking for a pen in a similar price category to it, here is a Pokka. It's P-O-K-K-A. It's another portable pen. This one's a true ballpoint, so it's not going to write anywhere near as smoothly as the Sheaffer. And this pen is, pretty similar in size. It also has that kind of rugged keychain type design. This one, I think, maybe it's like $3 if you get the fully plastic model. This aluminum model is maybe $8 or $9, something like that. So similar price range. Obviously, this Pokka is a lot more rugged and I would say cooler looking. Not as fun to use because it doesn't have as smooth of a refill. About the same level of comfort. This one's on the skinny side, but it doesn't have any sort of ridges or anything like that, or any sort of drift of this mechanism. So it really, I would say, comes down to personal preference. If you want like a Pokka style pen, or maybe a Fisher bullet pen, Fisher Space Pen bullet pen, which would kind of be my preference. So I like that refill, that Fisher refill for portable. If you need a pen with you all the time, that's why a ballpoint works really well. So it'll write on anything. Whereas a gel pen like this, or a rollerball pen, or what have you, is really for writing on paper. So you're gaining comfort and ease of use and like nice writing on paper, but you're losing versatility because you can't write on like a glossy magazine or a hard plastic surface or something like that with the gel or the rollerball style. Just to close it out, here's that piece. It's perfectly acceptable to clip this onto a keychain ring like this. There's no one included, unfortunately. Or you could put it on maybe a skinny carabiner. But again, nothing's included. So you couldn't, put it on. You need a rope or something. It can't go around a backpack specifically, but you could figure out a way with a keychain ring. It's kind of a bummer they didn't include one. It'd be so simple. But I don't have any small keychain rings like this lying around, so it would be nice to get one with the pen, but not too big of a deal. And this thing just clips on. Nice firm click. And it's really hard to get off. I guess you never want your pen to accidentally fall off, so you want to err on the side of having it harder to pull off, not easy to pull off, but if you can't separate it when you need, that's just annoying. And again, maybe mine's tighter than normal. Maybe you're supposed to just pull it off with your nail. That's why those little grooves are here, so you can kind of take advantage of that. But man, this is kind of awkward. And I'm not particularly happy with that experience right there. Usually I just been trying to, attach this to keys or something, and then you have something to pull, but that's a little awkward as well. So I'm still trying to figure out the best way to do this. Wrenching it off or like prying it off is the way to do it with the least pressure. But again, it's not exactly a pleasant experience. So that's the Sheaffer Gel Ion pen. A nice writer, but not super comfortable, and not a pen I really recommend. Obviously, it's in the under $10 category in the size. There's not a huge amount of competition, but for a little bit more, you can get a Pocketable or a Fisher bullet pen and some other really nice pens that are I really do prefer to this one.